Why was the Su-34, which had high hopes, frequently faltered on the Russian-Ukrainian battlefield? This unique shape of the front-line bomber in the actual combat exposed fatal flaws, may be indicative of the modern air warfare pattern of profound changes. When the Russian Air Force Su-34 in Ukrainian airspace was shot down one after another, people cannot help but ask, in the 21st century modern war, this single-function fighter-bomber has been reduced to an obsolete air target. The design concept of the Su-34 originated from Cold War military thinking, and its positioning as a front-line fast support bomber was intended to provide immediate air support for ground troops in the steel duel on the plains of Europe. The maximum takeoff weight of 45 tons of heavy fighter aircraft equipped with 12 tons of ammunition and 4,000 kilometers of range, two-seat side-by-side cockpit, and built-in sanitary equipment design all show the ultimate pursuit of the front line of sustained combat capability. However, the inherent flaws of this design concept are exposed when it is challenged by the dual challenges of modern air defense systems and multi-role fighters. The December 2023 air war, in which Ukraine claimed to have shot down a staggering 3 Su-34s in a single day, is a brutal footnote to this anachronism. The Su-34's tactical was stemmed from multiple technical shortcomings. Its V004 mechanically scanned radar detection range of only 120 kilometers, electro-optical targeting system horizontal scanning range of less than plus or minus 12 degrees, far inferior to the Chinese and US warplanes' active phased array radar and omnidirectional electro-optical pod. More deadly, due to the lack of precision-guided munitions, the Su-34 was forced to use low-altitude breakout to drop unguided bombs of primitive tactics. The flight altitude is often reduced to less than 2,000 meters, which happens to fall into the Stinger, Needle 1, and other man-portable anti-aircraft missiles of the best range. This tactic, which proved to be risky during the Gulf War, is tantamount to suicide in front of Ukraine's dense anti-aircraft fire network. Statistics show that more than 80% of downed Russian warplanes are the result of low-altitude bombing missions. Although the Russians later retrofitted the Su-34 with the UMPC glide guidance kit that allows it to drop Fab 500 M62 bombs at 30,000 feet, this modification only extends the strike range to 60 kilometers, and its reliance on satellite guidance makes it highly susceptible to electronic jamming. 20 In July 2023, they retrofitted a Shybine electronic warfare system and SAP-14 jamming equipment, which theoretically shield enemy radar, but in practice, they are not effective at blocking enemy radar. The Shybine electronic warfare system and SAP-14 jamming equipment installed in July 2023 can theoretically block enemy radar, but their actual effectiveness is limited by the performance of Russian-made electronic components, which has failed to significantly improve battlefield survivability. The fault lines in the Russian military's combat system further magnify the Su-34's shortcomings. Modern warfare has long exceeded the performance of a single piece of equipment, but the system of confrontation of the overall competition. Ukraine through NATO to provide space-based reconnaissance, electronic jamming and data chain system, build up the air-ground integrated air defense network. The Russian army lacks sufficient early warning aircraft to provide air support, but also because of the poor synergy of military services, has led to a number of friendly fire incidents. More ironic is that the Russian army has Orion and other observation and combat unmanned aircraft, but still insisted on using $45 million worth of Su-34 to carry out can be borne by the unmanned aircraft to hit low-value targets. The rigidity of this operational thinking makes the Su-34 a victim of system deficiencies. The October 2022 crash in the city of Yeysk further exposed the Su-34's mechanical reliability problems. And Su-34 on a training mission crashed into a residential neighborhood due to an engine fire, killing 14 people, and investigations revealed serious lapses in the aircraft's routine maintenance. Similar mechanical failures were foreshadowed in the 2019 Sea of Japan collision, where two Su-34s collided due to pilot error, behind which a deep-seated problem of insufficient training for type conversion was reflected. The rise of Chinese and American multi-purpose fighters has completely rewritten the rules of air warfare. China's J-16 equipped with KLJ-7A active phased array radar can track 30 targets at the same time, with the PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles to form a kill radius of 200 kilometers. in the mounting of 8 tons of ground munitions at the same time still retains the ability to fight with the enemy aircraft in the air. US F-15X through the AN, a PG-82 V-1 radar to achieve air combat mode, and synthetic aperture radar terrain mapping seamless switching, can be 60 kilometers away from the precise delivery of jam-guided bombs. This one aircraft, many functions, feature not only greatly improves the mission flexibility, but also significantly reduces combat costs by reducing the number of sorties. In contrast, the Su-34, with its bulky titanium armor and dedicated ground control configuration, has severely reduced its air combat capability, and every sortie requires the escort of the Su-35, greatly increasing the complexity of the combat system. Functional single specialized combat aircraft are gradually withdrawing from the stage of history. This trend in the development of Air Force equipment in various countries more and more clear. The US retired the last F-111 as early as 1998, and China's Flying Leopard series has been gradually replaced by the J-16.710. Even the Aten attack aircraft, which is known for its ground attack, is shrinking under the squeeze of the F-35. Russia's decision to persist in developing the Su-34 somewhat exposes the lag in the development of its avionics technology. While Western fighters can expand their mission types through software upgrades, Russian-made fighters still require specialized platforms to achieve specific functions. This difference in technological paths has evolved into a grueling equipment attrition ratio in the vast skies of Ukraine. Russia's obsession with the Su-34 is really a mirror reflection of its geopolitical dilemma. Facing the pressure of NATO's eastward expansion, the Russian Air Force has only 235 4.5 generation fighters in service, and the number of 5th-generation Su-57s is less than 20, which makes it difficult to ensure the superiority of air control. In this context, the Su-34 armored truck characteristics: 12 tons of ammunition, 4,000 kilometers range and titanium alloy protection to make up for the shortcomings of the system of expediency. However, this design philosophy of more water on the noodle has resulted in an increase in empty weight to 22.5 tons, a thrust-to-weight ratio of only 0.6, and a 30% drop in maneuverability compared to the prototype Su-27. This shortcoming was magnified during the Battle of Kiev in 2022, when an Su-34 was shot down by a Needle-1 missile in a low-altitude breakout, and the 500 kilograms of unguided bombs found in the wreckage confirmed the dilemma of the Russians being forced to take risks due to a shortage of precision munitions. The Su-34's battlefield lesson reveals the core logic of military change. The performance advantage of a single piece of equipment is not worth the effort of a systematic confrontation. While Russia is still mourning the loss of hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Su-34s, China has already built up a modern fleet of 200 J-20s, 400 J-16s and 700 J-10s, and has closed the chain of killings with its Thunderbolt series of missiles and Rainbow drones. The U.S. Loyal Wingman project is to show the subversive potential of manned-unmanned coordinated operations. F-35 can command the unmanned aircraft group to carry out reconnaissance, jamming and attack tasks, the traditional air war into the era of intelligence. It is interesting to note that Russia has tried to seek a breakthrough with the Su-34, carrying Dagger hypersonic missiles, but its slow avionics upgrade speed and lack of stealth design are still not enough to counter modern air defense systems. In contrast, China's J-35 research and development has skillfully avoided the medium-sized aircraft trap, and through modular design and advanced manufacturing processes, it has achieved mission flexibility comparable to that of heavy aircraft while maintaining shipboard adaptability, laying the foundation for systematic competition in the era of the 6th-generation aircraft.